the unnamed motorcycle that I had
It's okay.
before.
We can tell these people because they don't judge. All right, guys, welcome to another, and this is a really fun episode of Moto Stories with Unkie Phil, and one of my best. This is a treat. I don't know if you guys know this, but very rarely do we have an international man of mystery. Somebody, in fact, who's world famous on not one, not two, but 3 continents, and in fact goes by the title, the Romantic Hispanic. That's right.
That's true.
That's my friend, Oscar. And Oscar has been a good friend of mine for quite a long time, and we are blessed to have Oscar in Cleveland. When we tell people how that happened, I'm not going to believe it. You never get a job working and then they're like, would you like to go and live in exotic locales like Cleveland, Ohio? That happened to him right there. He got that opportunity. Not many people do, especially not with your background. To end up in Cleveland is really, that's quite impressive. Now, let's just kill the elephant in the room to start with. People are going to know that your name is Oscar because you have, in fact, everybody knows you. When they heard you were coming to Cleveland,
oh yeah,
all of his friends, you got to make sure Oscar, we got to look after Oscar, make sure Oscar's having a good time. Don't let Oscar be bored, whatever. And I was like, you guys, chill the fuck out. Like, we have a good time in Cleveland. You can trust. We'll take care of Oscar. But Oscar does, in fact, have a last name. Now, the whole world thinks that Oscar's last name is Pitsui. Now, when you write, let's write that out for him, right?
Yeah.
It's P-Z-O-O-E. Okay? All right. Oscar, explain it.
Well, I have this little puppy over here that's a P200E model of a Vespa.
And back in the early days of the internet,
Right,
through the alt dot whatever names, and the original chat groups and stuff.
Friendster and shit.
Friendster, exactly. So Oscar would be on there, and he would be on as P200E.
Yeah.
But the 2, so that I think it was just available, was a Z.
Yeah, well then they started forcing to not obviously your last name and your
True to use
information. A name. Right, it had to be a name, so I just kind of skipped all the numbers and just made them letters.
Made them into letters. So for as far as anybody who knew you online,
right,
they just thought his name was Pitsui. And we're like, now granted, the Romantic Hispanic, and that is going to catch people, but I don't know what your country of origin would be for a Pitsui. I think that's Sicilian. But it's pretty sure not Mexican, so that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And so for everybody who's watching, this is Oscar. And Oscar has been riding scooters, well, since I met you. And when I met you, I was like, this guy's got Mexico figured out, because that's a big deal. So when did you actually start riding?
So I started riding in 2000, scooters,
yeah, because
2007, right.
Yeah.
The unnamed motorcycle that I had before. It's okay.
We can tell these people because they don't judge. Just in the comments.
It's just between us, right?
Just between us.
So my first bike was a Suzuki Katana 100.
Yeah.
That was in 98.
Year of our Lord, 98.
98.
And honestly, I'm going to guess. Hold on. I'm going to do my Karnak impersonation. It was in 1992. Suzuki Katana, was it?
92 or 94.
I'm telling you, I am cursed by 92 Katanas.
And we're probably going to see like a drop right here from the screen.
It's going to.
It was the red Katana with the purple.
Oh, the purple graphics?
Yeah, and the purple like 3 spokey ones.
So it basically looked like a pack of Spree candy.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the one that I had.
Yeah.
I had it for a couple of years. That was my first bike. After that, I sold it because I bought my house.
Yeah.
But what actually started me with the whole scooter thing was a P200.
Yeah.
In 2006. Mm-hmm. Because as well as you know, and actually you also were part of the ska scene back then.
Absolutely, because you're in a band.
I was playing saxophone when I was in high school.
Yep. It's one of the things Oscar and I have in common is we're both saxophonists.
And really good at it.
Yeah, exactly. He's a saxophonist and I'm a saxophonist. That's it. And then that's cool. It's like playing saxophone in a ska band is a really fun experience.
Right.
For people that haven't done it before, for people that don't know, ska is just a blast. Right. So ska is really, thanks, Steve. Steve just loves ska.
He knows it.
Like he's got the Rudy tattoo. Like he's straight up, he's checkerboard the whole way, right? And so for our background, kind of coming out of that community, because that goes hand in hand with what we do, right?
That and scooters are like hand in hand. Obviously, I couldn't afford it when I was in high school, but that was the one thing. Was like, oh man, a fucking Vespa. What I wouldn't do to get a Vespa, but you have no money. You're in high school, so that was in the back burner. Yeah. And
I think it's hilarious. You're riding around on a Suzuki 4-cylinder, 600, and you're thinking about a Vespa.
Well, this is my blood.
I love that. I'm guilty of the same thing, by the way. That's it.
So I got rid of that one. Yeah. A few years pass, and all of a sudden, I was talking to a friend of mine that was trying to buy a motorcycle out of Cycle Trader, and I was like, while you're at it, just keep an eye if you see a Vespa, just for shits and giggles.
And now, when you were going to high school, you were in Tijuana, right?
Right.
So you're in TJ. And the ska band, I've seen the pictures, by the way, of the ska band.
Oh my God.
I have seen the photos of this man's ska band. And they are very, very much of the time. Let's just put it that way. This is like, when I'm not joking when we say, ska had a first wave, ska had a second wave, ska had a third wave, and you guys were strong fourth wave ska. It was very much, it was gangster fun era. It was very much that.
That was in 94.
Yeah.
It was in 94 when I was in the ska band.
Yeah, and I mean, that, for all of us who know, that was a ska revival of the highest. Yep. And it was, it was great. And there was so much good stuff coming out. I mean, and there were a lot of energy. There was a lot of people putting out really good ska music. Right. And we had friends, Skank and Pickle, that was active in the time, and they were so much fun. And the Pie Tasters, and we could go out and see these shows, and these people were all our friends. And the one thing that was hilarious is, what do? We all rode scooters. So you go to a ska show and you see a whole freaking row of scooters out in front. You'd be like, oh, I have arrived. Right. In Cleveland, we'd be at the grog shop, and there'd just be my whole group. Back when we were in the North Coast Scooter Club, we would just line up in front of the grog shop, and any band that was coming in, we'd make sure to get there early, so they had to walk past the scooters to get in, and they'd always give us shout outs in the shows. That's freaking cool, man. So your first Vespa was a P2. That's the workhorse.
I still have it.
And exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and I have been behind that bike a couple of hundred times. And that bike, the front of the bike goes this way, and the back of the bike goes this way.
Yeah.
It's seen a few potholes.
It was, I think it was bigger than a pothole. I mean, I didn't buy it that way. It was a really nice, clean bike.
Yeah.
78.
Yeah. And it's the same color as that bike. I mean,
well, at this point, it looks a little more orange. Right, yeah. When it was built. No, at this point, it's a little bit orangey, but
yeah.
No, but I had an accident several years later, and the frame is a little bit twisted. The motor is kind of
and
going
you
sideways.
Ride it like a boss.
I stole
that bike is like an extension of your body. Like you've got your legs, and then you got your Vespa, and so that's super cool. I mean, that's great that was your first Vespa, and it's fantastic. You still got it.
I still have
Most people would love to have their first bike back.
Yeah.
And so the fact you still got that first Vespa is kick ass. So then you're rocking around on that Vespa in the early 90s. I mean, that was pretty cool. Very good time to be doing that. Now, did Tijuana have a ski? Did you guys have a scooter scene?
Well, I didn't know it, so I wanted to do that when I was in either high school and then later on when I actually got a chance to have it.
Right.
I did not know that there was a scene. When I later learned that there was a club already set up with I don't know, 15, 20 people.
Yep.
That there was a scooter scene, and there was a lot of people playing records and different places and just having fun with like all the stuff that I loved.
Yeah. And it is fun when you land into that and you realize I met my buddy Sam Locke at Record Exchange on the hill in Coventry. And so he was running Record Exchange, and I went in there, and it was legit. Right. I saw his tattoo on his arm, and I was like, that's really cool. It's a weird tattoo. And he's like, yeah, tattoos are addictive. And I was like, yeah, so are motorcycles. And he goes, yeah, so are scooters. And I went, stop. What do you know about scooters? Because you say Honda Elite, I'm out of here. And he was like, oh, no, I've got all Lambretta, and I've got all, worst Sam Locke impression ever, because he's from Coventry, like the real Coventry. He lived in Coventry here, but he was from the real Coventry. His mom and dad were mods. So he grew up on the back of a Vespa and a Lambretta, probably a Lambretta, knowing his dad. But so for real, that was my first interaction. And when I met Sam, we were like, bam. And so you met all those guys in TJ.
Yeah. So
holy crap.
So when I got the bike, lived downtown the Tijuana proper, and it was just on the weekend, I was like, fuck it. I'll just go to Rosarito.
Yep.
I'm close enough. I'll just go to Rosarito.
And if you know anything about geography, Rosarito is not technically close to Tijuana.
Close enough.
For a Vespa ride.
Right. So I'm just fucking off.
I'm just going to fuck off down there.
And I think it was a Sunday, because I was going in that direction, and all of a sudden I see another Vespa with a sidecar and like 3 or 4 other bikes behind it. And I was like,
Yeah.
Yui on the spot, just went and caught up with the guys. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? Where are you guys hiding? I've never seen you around.
I know the feeling.
And they just gave the phone number of one of the guys, like, we got you.
Yeah.
We're good. And it turns out that actually one of the guys, as we do, someone was coming through from San Diego, and all of a sudden there's a pile of scooters going south and just chilling on the beach and just hanging out.
Yeah, and so this is a big deal as far as I'm concerned, because we're going to get into this in a future episode, I promise. But what I wanted to do was lay a little bit of foundation about Oscar, because what Oscar's managed to do with a lot of your friends, too, is kind of accidentally make it your mission to make a bridge, to build a bridge between the guys in San Diego and the guys in Tijuana and Mexico City and everybody else. And they have literally made it so we now have family. And we do. And it's been magic. It really has. And you got to think about that for just a second. Is there are people who are a catalyst. There are people who literally do bond others together. And we to say that's why Oscar's been a real important part of my adventure. Kind of doing things that I've never done before. And we'll talk about that in an upcoming episode of Moto Stories with Unkie Phil and Oscar. Absolutely. And so watch these, pay attention to them, because when we publish these, when these drop, they're putting some time into it. When you watch Fernando and Steve back there, they're have you seen these dudes? They are like plotting.
Yeah, they're just kind
of... they're moving like 3 moves ahead of us. We're just being told what to say most of the time. So, but it's fun. I mean, we get some drinks and stuff and have a good time. So, as we like to say, please ride fast and take chances, and we're going to get ready for the next episode.
All right.
I promise. Cheers.